The scent of freshly cut grass and sizzling barbecue hung in the air, a perfect symphony for a perfect suburban life. That was my life, or at least the meticulously crafted facade I'd believed in for 10 years. I was Alex, a software engineer who worked hard to give my wife Sarah and our 7-year-old daughter Lily everything they could ever want. Our 2-story colonial with the pristine white picket fence wasn't just a house, it was a testament to our shared dream. Sarah was the sun my world orbited around, beautiful, charismatic, the perfect mother, the perfect partner. At least, that's who I thought she was. The first crack in this perfect picture appeared on a Tuesday, disguised as an innocent line item on our credit card statement, the Serenity Inn, $245.50. I didn't recognize the name. It was a boutique hotel in a small town about an hour away, a place we'd never had any reason to visit. When I casually asked Sarah about it that evening as she was helping Lily with her homework, her smile didn't falter, but her eyes flickered for a fraction of a second. "Oh, that! Silly me, I forgot to tell you," she laughed, a sound that suddenly seemed a little too bright. "Chloe and Jessica and I had a spa day. It was a package deal. We just decided to go for it last minute. You know how it is." I didn't. I also didn't know Chloe and Jessica were close enough to Sarah for a spontaneous, expensive spa day. But I nodded, pushing the unease down. To doubt her felt like a betrayal itself. But the seed of doubt, once planted, began to grow roots in the dark. It fed on little things. The way she suddenly guarded her phone, angling it away from me, the late nights at the office that became more frequent, even though her marketing job had always been a strict 9 to 5, the new expensive perfume she wore that I hadn't bought her. Each was a small thing, easily explained away, but together they formed a suffocating tapestry of suspicion. The loving husband in me warred with the logical engineer. I needed data. I needed proof before I allowed my mind to destroy the foundation of my world. My descent began with the phone bill. I logged into our family account online, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. The detailed call log was a revelation. Dozens of calls and hundreds of texts every single day to one number, a number I didn't recognize. My hand shook as I typed it into a reverse lookup site. The result felt like a physical blow, knocking the air from my lungs. The number belonged to Mark, my best friend. Mark, who had been the best man at my wedding. Mark, who was Lily's godfather. Mark, who had been at our house for dinner just last week, laughing and joking with me while his own wife Karen sat beside him. My first instinct was denial. It was a roaring, desperate wave of no, it can't be. They were friends. They worked together on the neighborhood watch committee. There had to be an innocent explanation.
But the sheer volume of communication, the late-night calls, the texts exchanged during family movie night, it screamed something more. I felt sick. The betrayal wasn't just a single act. It was a sprawling, insidious conspiracy that implicated the 2 most important people in my life outside of my daughter. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay next to Sarah, her steady breathing a mocking counterpoint to my chaotic thoughts. Every touch, every shared memory of the past decade felt tainted. I had to know the truth, the whole ugly truth. The next day, after she and Lily left, I did something I never thought I was capable of. I installed a discrete keylogger on our home office computer. The act felt vile, a violation of the very trust I was trying to verify was broken. But I was a man drowning, and this was my only lifeline to the surface of reality. I didn't have to wait long. 2 days later, an email chain appeared in the logs. They were using a private shared email account. The subject line was, "Our plans." Reading their words was like voluntarily drinking poison. It burned through my veins, leaving me hollow and cold. They weren't just flirting, they were living a whole other life. They talked about my shortcomings, my predictable nature, how I was too focused on work. They mocked me. They shared intimate details that were supposed to be ours alone. They planned their secret getaways, the Serenity Inn being just one of many. The worst part was reading their discussions about the future. Sarah was waiting for my next big project to finish, for the bonus to be paid out. Then she planned to file for divorce, paint me as an absentee husband, and take me for everything she could, starting a new, comfortable life with Mark. The rage was primal. I wanted to smash the monitor, to scream until my lungs gave out. But as the red haze of anger subsided, it was replaced by something else, a chilling, diamond-hard clarity. They thought I was a quiet, predictable fool, a stepping stone.
They thought I would crumble when she left, that I'd be too heartbroken to fight back. They underestimated me. She cheated, and she thought I'd stay quiet. I wouldn't. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction of a quiet, dignified exit. They built their secret world in the shadows. I was going to drag it, kicking and screaming, into the light. Our annual summer barbecue was in 2 weeks. It was our biggest social event of the year. All our friends, family, and neighbors would be there. Mark and his wife Karen were always the first to RSVP. It was the perfect stage. For the next 14 days, I was an actor playing the role of his life. I was the loving husband, the doting father, the oblivious friend. Inside, I was a general planning a war. I gathered my ammunition meticulously. I printed every email, every text message log. I hired a private investigator for a day, a gruff ex-cop who, for a reasonable fee, got me dated security footage from the Serenity Inn's lobby.
The grainy image of Sarah and Mark checking in together, laughing, was my coup de grace. On the day of the barbecue, the sun shone with an almost cruel brightness. Our backyard was filled with the laughter of children and the chatter of friends. I manned the grill, flipping burgers, accepting compliments on the marinade, smiling until my face ached. I watched Sarah and Mark. They were masters of their craft, hiding in plain sight. A shared glance over the potato salad, a brief touch of hands while reaching for drinks. Innocuous to anyone else, but to me they were glaring confessions. I felt a strange detachment, as if I were watching a movie where I already knew the ending. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the lawn, I turned off the music and clinked a fork against my glass. "Everyone, can I have your attention for a moment?" The chatter died down. Lily was playing with her friends by the swing set, blissfully unaware. I was glad for that. "I'd like to make a toast," I began, my voice steady. "For 10 years, this house, this family, has been my world. It's built on what I thought were the strongest foundations: love, family, and above all, trust. I've always believed that honesty is the bedrock of any relationship, whether it's with your spouse or your best friend." I saw a flicker of unease in Sarah's eyes. Mark shifted his weight. I had their attention. But it turns out foundations can be rotted from the inside out, and you won't even know it until the whole house is about to collapse. I walked over to the large patio screen we used for outdoor movie nights and picked up a remote. Some people are just really, really good at keeping secrets. With a click, the screen lit up. The first image was a screenshot of an email, Sarah's email to Mark. "I can't wait to get away from him, just one more month." A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. I clicked again. A text message exchange planning their rendezvous at the Serenity Inn, complete with explicit details of what they plan to do. I could see Karen, Mark's wife, her face contorting in confusion and horror. Sarah was frozen, her drink slipping from her numb fingers and shattering on the stone patio. "I know what you're thinking," I said, my voice dangerously calm as I narrated the slideshow of my life's destruction. "Maybe it's just a fling, but it's so much more." I clicked to the next slide. Their emails discussing the divorce, the money, their future together built on the ashes of 2 families. And for the grand finale, I played the video. Grainy, black and white, but unmistakable. Sarah and Mark checking into the hotel, his arm wrapped possessively around her waist. The silence that followed was absolute, a vacuum where all the joy and laughter had been. It was broken by a choked sob from Karen, who crumpled into her chair. Mark stood, pale and trembling, unable to speak. Sarah finally found her voice, a shrill, desperate shriek. "Alex, how could you do this?" "This is private." "Private?" I repeated, the word tasting like ash. "Was it private when you mocked me in your emails? Was it private when you spent our money on hotel rooms with my best friend? You made a mockery of this family, of our vows, in front of everyone, just in secret. I'm just turning on the lights." The party dissolved. People left in awkward, horrified silence, not knowing where to look. Mark tried to approach me, mumbling apologies, but I just stared through him. He was a ghost to me now. Soon it was just Sarah and me in the wreckage of our life. The discarded paper plates and half-eaten food a grim parody of the celebration it had been. She didn't cry. She raged. She called me cruel, manipulative, insane. There was no remorse, no apology, only fury at being caught. In that moment, the last vestiges of my love for her died. I saw her for who she was, a selfish, manipulative person who valued her own desires above everyone else, including her own daughter. The divorce was brutal,
But my public revelation had an unintended consequence. I had dozens of witnesses to her character. She couldn't play the victim. Mark lost everything. His wife, his job, our boss was at the party, and every single one of his friends. They tried to make a go of it, I heard, but their relationship, born of deceit, couldn't survive the harsh light of reality. 1 year later, the house is sold. Life is different. It's quieter. It's just me and Lily. We have a smaller place, but it's filled with more genuine warmth than the old house ever was. We're healing. Some days are harder than others, but when I watch Lily chase butterflies in the park, her laughter pure and untainted, I know I did the right thing. I didn't stay quiet. I didn't let them write the ending to my story. I fought back, not with rage, but with truth. I tore down the old rotten structure to build something new, something real, for the one person who mattered most. And for the first time in a long time, we were free.